Dear friends, good day. My name is Dr. François Tessier, CEO of the Center for Complementary Therapy and Pain Management in Sri Lanka. Welcome to this Zoom interview with Eric Pettigrew, holistic consultant, founder and director of Holistic LifeWorks in United States. Eric is originally from Quebec, Canada, and he began his career as a professional dancer. And he continues to pursue his passion for movement and healing through yoga, massage, and homeopathy. Eric is a teacher. He's a practitioner of yoga since nearly 20 years. And he is an established homeopath as well as a massage therapist. His private practice, Holistic LifeWorks, is based in New York City and Eastern Long Island in the United States. He currently participates in the Urban Zen Integrative Therapy program that brings holistic healing techniques to hospitals and to other medical institutions. Eric is also a master trainer for Y4C, which means Yoga for Cancer, that allows him to offer yoga classes catered for individuals affected by cancer and also to educate other yoga instructors into this methodology. In the last 6 years, Eric has participated with volunteer initiatives in Africa, where he helps support the population affected by AIDS with an organization called Homeopathy Health in Africa, along with teaching with the Kenya School of Homeopathy in Kenya. Eric's diverse experience and knowledge contribute to his committed practice of holistic healing. Eric completed last year a functional medicine health coaching. Well, Eric, welcome and thank you for being here with us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. Well, Eric, you have an impressive biography. Your professional background is quite interesting. You went from dance to healing to yoga, to massage, to homeopathy, from Quebec to Africa, and now New York. How did everything start? Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, it sounds the way you say it, when I'm listening to you, I get almost dizzy here. It sounds like it's all over the place and all over the map. I guess it's I follow my heart and I follow my passion. So when I was younger, of course, my passion was movement and dance, and that kind of like transitioned into yoga, which has an affinity with the body and the breath, and it was a beautiful discovery. And I always, as long as I remember, feel the need to help. And I've always been very sensitive to suffering, as long as I can remember. And I don't know why and how. And I believe that people have their own kind of like relationship with life. If you believe in destiny or karma and in all these concepts, I think that if I look at the origin of myself, suffering and helping are the two themes that's always been there, like always the umbrella over my head, if you will. So I guess around my early 30s, I started to pay attention to that and to explore. I always been using homeopathy medicine. I always been, I have nothing against conventional medicine. I think it saves life, and I'm very happy to use it when I need it. But I'm always been attracted to holistic healing, naturopathy, using food, using supplements. Even while I was a dancer, I mean, that was a life-saving, just to have a good source of protein in my food. Using homeopathy when I was injured, like arnica was like always a lifesaver.
Yes.
So then from that, I mean, from Montreal to New York to Africa, and
yes, there is a lot of traveling here, no?
Right. I guess I'm always been open. I'm always been a free spirit in nature.
How did you went to, how were you brought in Africa? Tell us this journey.
So that was, I was living in New York for nearly 10 years when I was finishing my my school of in homeopathy medicine. So that was classical homeopathy, 4 years of study in New York, where I met a lot of colleagues and people. And one of my teacher was involved with this organization in Africa, which was helping a group of homeopaths from London, from England, moved in Africa, in Tanzania,
And they
and they
invited
were
you?
helping. Hmm?
They invited you?
Well, I kind of like requested. I like, oh, what is this happening there? What's happening? And so they invited me. Yes, they said, yeah, you're welcome to try. So I went there for 4 months, where I was running my own clinic in rural area, and saw many patients, and having great results with the side effect of treatment, because they were on ARV treatment. Not too many options, just a little bit of ARVs. They had like 2 choices, and it's basically the leftover medication from the West, from the right. So
Perished medicine sometimes also.
the British
Perished,
medicine,
perished
perish,
medication.
exactly, expired and perish medicine and expired. All the medicine that is no longer good for us, they were dumped into Africa. So they were having a lot of reaction, a lot of side effects. They were not dying of AIDS, but they were not having a normal life.
Mm.
And
What
this is
was the
where
result?
homeopathy
Tell
came
us
in.
about the result that you got from that. I
Oh, it
mean,
was amazing. Like the CD4, which is basically the reaction of your white blood cells. And we were able to, not every patients, because it's not accessible there all the time, but when we had the CD4 counts, we were amazed to see how it was jumping up. And so yeah, at the beginning I was like very interested about the symptoms of the disease, AIDS, and the symptoms of the side effect of the treatment. And within a month, I didn't care. I was treating what I see, and I was helping people and prescribing on the symptoms. And it was very magical to see how how they were like having a life. You know?
How were you brought into homeopathy? How did it came in your life? Did you take a training somewhere? How did
Yes,
homeopathy?
4 years.
Oh,
4 years in New York City, I was trained.
uh-huh.
So it's a school. It was back then. It was a sister school from the one in England. So most of our teachers were English,
Uh-huh.
and they were coming in New York City to teach us once a month. And
Oh.
that was for 4 years.
Mhm. So speaking of homeopathy and classic medicine, you are still participating into integrative approach with hospital. Can you tell us a little bit about that? You're
Of
working
course.
on hospital with holistic medicine in places where it is focused on Western medicine. Tell us about
Yes.
this experience.
That's a very mind puzzling. Yes, I understand why you're asking me this question, because you're like, huh? You're in the hospital right now?
Mm.
So, unfortunately, I do not do homeopathy medicine at hospital. This is not what I do. What I bring to the hospital is basically body mind awareness with for the patients, and also for the staff, for the nurses and some doctors who wanted to be more integrative in the person. It's pretty interesting to see how we can influence the work in one hospital. Now, that hospital that I'm talking about is in Southampton, New York,
Oh.
which is close to, I live in East Hampton,
Mhm.
so it's about 20 minutes from my home. And
Oh.
I've been involved for the last 6 years. Once or twice a week, I go there, and basically what we offer, it's called Urban Zen. And
Mm.
you can have it a look online. This Urban Zen is a foundation that was created about 10 years ago from Donna Karan, which is a fashion designer,
Oh.
right? So Donna Karan created this work in combination with Rodney Yee and his wife Collins Senman Yee. Um, So those are both yoga instructor. So the three of them created this amazing concept of how can we use movement and breath to help people to reconnect with their spirit, their self, or at least addressing the nervous system.
Yes.
So that, as we know, the nervous system could be locked into sympathetic mode, which is the fight and flight. So how can we, within 30 minutes work, help the person to be like giving them tools to be empowering themselves to get back into a sense of self.
Yeah.
So we use movement, breath based on yoga, and we do that with the patient in bed at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So they're basically just simple movement of legs and arms and coordination, breath and movement. Combine after that with restorative yoga pose in bed or in the chair if they're not in bed. And then we combine that with Reiki, which is a form of hands-on healing and energy, and with guided meditation. So we give them a bit like Yoga Nidra, we give them a body awareness meditation as we do the Reiki on them.
Mm-hmm.
So the session could be 30 to 45 minutes and very profound. The results, I mean, all the nurses and the doctors are so thankful, and the patients feel amazing.
Yes.
So this has been going on for a while.
I guess that the pain management is one of the
As
greatest
well.
success about that, no?
Exactly. So they ask less for pain medication, and therefore the stay at the hospital is not as long. You know, they can go back home faster. They're also happier. They look and they feel happier to me.
Mm-hmm.
Less anxious, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You're not practicing homeopathy, but yet you in your practice, in your professional practice as a yoga teacher and massage therapist, you also oftenly talk about body, mind, spirit reconnection. Can you, based on what you do with patients, can you talk about that and what does it mean? It's a philosophical concept, but how does it apply in a clinic context? And what is this? What's the impact of that?
Mm-hmm. Well, in your question, you have the answer right there. It's like it's a conceptual thing. How can we explain energy? Like it's always been a mind-boggling to me. And we don't want to sound too woo-woo. We don't want to sound too esoteric. And yet, we are dealing with clinical fact and reality. So how can those two can bridge together? It's always been on my mind. Even when I was teaching yoga 20 years ago, I didn't want to be like, oh, the woo-woo guy, you know. I wanted to be real. I want to be a person that explore movement, breath, and energetic work.
But you
Now that
see the
said,
result. You see it. You see it, no? You
what do you
see
mean
the
you see
result
it?
on the patient. Yeah?
Oh yes, I mean, like I'm not, I'm not a person who sees things like colors, and I
No,
mean,
but
I know that exists.
I mean that you see the result. You see how the patient is reacting. You see the
Yes,
impact.
totally. And this is like, this is so clear. Like, there's no question on that.
Mm.
But even if you see it from, let's say, a doctor or a nurse who are more trained into one way of thinking, I'm thinking now of a allopathic medicine model or
Yeah.
conventional medicine. Um, it, the fact for me that they are open-minded to receive our work at the hospital, I'm great. I'm like, yes. For them to embrace and to be seeing it and talking about it and be like screaming and chanting about it, no. You know, this is still kind of like it's happening, and once in a while we have like, oh yeah, this is great, thank you for your work. But most of the time I think it's integrated in the work of the hospital, where um it's happening organically. There is no, I mean, I believe in magical, I believe in magic and miracle. Like I do, I really do believe in vital force, in life force, in the nature. I mean, just now, I mean, we're in the middle of the pandemic, and how within weeks the planet itself is changing. I love to see that. I mean, I don't love the idea of pandemic, but I love to see how the vital force of the planet is showing us, like
Yes.
clearly and loud, how beautiful it is. So
Mm-hmm.
the same thing with my work, to go back to your question about how this holistic body, mind, and spirit connect together, and how can we explain that, or how can we put it in practice in clinical study or in clinical action with patients. I myself believe, and I really, when I do my work, my intention, it's a work of intention, and my intention is to bring good, to bring, to facilitate the healing process to happen. So it's not that I'm special or magic. I think my intention is clear, that my intention is to serve and to be good and to promote healing.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe any form of disease, not at ease in terms of like it doesn't have to be a serious disease. Someone who's not well with themselves, not at ease, could be shifted and changed
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
by just that flow of prana, the energy or the chi or the ki. It's all the same. We're all having a vital force. If you're alive and if you breathe, you are alive and you breathe. Therefore, there is life force happening to you.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I believe that the body, mind, spirit, or the energetic healing address that source of life in each of us. Now, awareness of it, the mind, where's the mind comes into it. My role as a practitioner is to shine light on this, to turn the switch on, so that people can have those moments of like, haha, or they feel more at flow in their experience of whatever they do, their life. And when I see that happen, for me, I'm totally satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Having results, like the word cured or the word treating, which especially the word treating this cause of this disease, um, to treat. For me, I'm trying to stay away from that, because I don't have that power. It's not because of me that that person is cured, or it's not because of me that that disease has been treated. I rather have a position of, maybe it's because of my intention and my presence in my work that this is been shifted, perhaps, or transformed, or treated or cured, whatever it is. But I don't feel like this is of my power, but more from my intention. I maybe promote the sense of healing. And when the patient or the person uh, is aware of that, that's a complete picture of the healing, because that person is actually experiencing it and is empowered from the effect of it, and therefore is much more solid and much more clear in terms of they don't depend on a drug or a surgery or a treatment of radiation.
Mm-hmm.
They actually can sit there and say, wow, I'm cancer free because I changed and I shifted something in my life. Sometimes it's just a habit, a relationship, a way of eating the food, a way of dealing with the emotion. I believe in that. I believe that if you realign yourself and reconnect with this sense of I like to call it like gathering yourself and centering yourself. First, you need to gather yourself, and then see clearly where you're at, and then make the decision for yourself. I'm here just as a guide. I never tell people what to do, but I
Mm-hmm.
inspire people perhaps to ask questions or to be more aware of what they can do. And sometimes we brainstorm together, we discuss options. But Yeah.
But you do some intervention. You are using your modalities. You also not only coach. You are using your knowledge. No, you are using what you know.
Of course. And this source of knowledge is endless. I mean, I can tell you right now that I study and I keep studying, and as long as my mind, my brain, and my body can function, I will continue on that path. There's no way that I will stop that. So beyond the age of retirement, I wish I can continue, you know? That's my personal wish.
Yes, yes, I think you will achieve. I was having a question, but you already partially answered. What joins all the different modalities that you are practicing? Yoga, you are practicing massage, you are practicing Reiki. I didn't know that, but you are practicing many different modalities. What is the cement? What joins everything?
I think we're talking about the same thing that I was just telling you about, like life force. That's what comes to mind right now, or prana, or energy flow. But life force, just life force. I mean, like just like a good meal or a good laugh with a friend, or a good relationship can give you so much healing, you know. So I don't like the word balance, but I love the word harmony, because for me it's like a symphony of you know, if you go into listen to a concert and there's a lot of musicians on stage, they all play together in harmony, and therefore that sound moved me. And that's, I think, whatever I use in my work, whatever is I do have clients where I pretty much did everything with them because they allow me to. They trust me, I guess, but they allow me to work with them. So we do homeopathy, and then we did body work, energetic work as well, and then the yoga, which is more physical movement, but also energetic work. And they kind of like, I could see how the whole picture, like a mandala, like a whole picture comes into place. And that's what interests me. And I guess that's why I don't specialize in one thing, because I don't believe in one form of medicine. I never did.
Yes.
And I'm not saying that the medicine, homeopathy, is the medicine.
Yes.
It's the one that I choose because I have great love for it and affinity, and I love the background and the history, I mean, behind that. I may also love acupuncture, with its 4,000 or 5,000 years old, you know, history behind. Maybe not 5, but closer to 5. Like, I love that too, but you know, you cannot do everything. So I choose homeopathy.
Yes.
Do I say this is the only form of medicine that works? No. Even allopathic medicine could have its place, you know.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of which, complementary medicine is a concept that is not abstract. So you are practicing basically the other side of the complementary medicine. So what you're telling me is we are not working as alternative therapy, but we are completing each other. Can you develop a little bit on that?
Well, I mean, just by the words alternative impose or suppose or imply changing. We take one thing and we remove it to alternative, right? And that almost imply one choice, remove one to replace. And I keep educating my clients with that. I said, let's stop using this alternative medicine concept, because that's limited.
Yeah.
And complementary medicine, I love the word complementary because it complete one another, like a relationship with, you get the idea, like complete the
Yes,
picture, like I
absolutely.
said earlier.
Yes, yes.
So yeah, I think, but less is more also. We have to be careful with complementary medicine, because if you keep adding too much stuff in the basket or into the pot, then you cannot taste. You don't know which one is working, which one is helping.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So sometimes I'm aware of that. So yes, I'm open, but let's just take one at a time sometimes and see which one is really doing what.
Yeah. To make
Yeah.
sure that you understand what's going on, no?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Eric, we are going to conclude this interview by your future project. What are you up to for the future? Are you up to learn something? Because you last year you did a new training. What are your future projects? How do you want to evolve in the future?
Yes. I feel lonely sometimes. I feel alone in my quest. I I do my concept of my kind of work now. I do travel a lot, meaning I go to people's home, or I go to New York City 2 days a week, and even then I go to people's apartment, home, and I sometimes feel a little bit bored with myself.
How would you onboard yourself?
How would I do that?
Onboard, take away the boredness.
Yes.
Do you want to take more some training? Do you want to teach? Do you want to develop
Yeah.
something new? What is
Yes. No.
your new
I've been
project?
right. In the last 10 years, I've been like, it's been about 4 or 5 years now. I didn't do it, but I've been doing a lot of retreats where I bring people into yoga and traveling, and which is super lovely and super nice. And then we have the week to really dig in and deep into, like, body mind awareness and meditation and all that. What I mean is, like, I feel like I love the idea of gathering with centers. For example, right now, the last 2 weeks of April. Today is the end of April, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
I'm losing track of time right now. I think it's the 28th of April. I was supposed to spend the last 2 weeks of April in Bali, because I have a friend there who opened a few years ago a center for. It's called the Place Retreat. The Place Retreat is a place where people are going there to do psychotherapy and also yoga and healing. So I was invited there to go and teach. And, like, from a bit like the urban Zen, restorative yoga combined with body awareness, and talking about life coaching and changing lifestyle or inspiring lifestyle changes. And so that got canceled.
Yeah.
So that was really looking forward to, but got canceled. Other thing that I really love, I don't want to become a shaman, but I have to say, like, this is something in the last 5 years, 10 years, almost 10 years, that I'm very attracted to.
Shamanism.
Yeah, shamanism. I'm open to it. It's not like a new direction in my life. Like, I don't think I'm going to become a shaman, or maybe I'll become a modern shaman. I don't know. But I really, really love Native American medicine, plant medicine, and also the spirit, the rapport and the rapport with the plants and the spirit. Like, just tobacco, for example, is a form of a way to communicate with spirit and
Yes.
healing. So all that, I actually believe that shamanism is probably going to become perhaps the new form of medicine in the next 20 years, perhaps. I hope so. It's been there for a long time. It's not
Yes.
new.
Yes.
It's
No.
right.
Not.
But I think it becomes more and more aligned with what we need right now. I really feel that, wow, shamanism is actually maybe the way to go for the next 20 years. Who knows? I still believe in homeopathy medicine. I think it's great. We're not going to go into the subject of politics with this, but it's been challenged in the last 100 years.
Yeah.
Um, it's unfortunate, but hey, this is the reality of our, human race right now. But I do love the concept of, because energetic medicine, if we go back to one of your first question, is the source of all healing. And you can stimulate that source in many, many, many ways, even if it's with needles or with breath exercise or with, ceremony and prayer. It doesn't matter. For me, as long as we stimulate that vital force to create harmony, I'm actually so happy when I see that.
Very good. Eric, I'm amazed very, very much because you're a great, great healer. You integrate everything. That's just amazing. I wish to see you in Sri Lanka one of these days. Why not coming here, no?
I will be delighted. I'm just waiting for the invitation.
That's noted. I will invite you, that's for sure. Thank you very, very, very much for this very inspiring interview. I am very much amazed of your journey, and continue it and continue to inspire people, because this is what healers are, isn't it?
Thank you. Yes, I believe so. I think we all need inspiration, and we all need as well reflection. We need to look at each other and be inspired one another in order to continue to grow as human beings. You don't have to be a healer, but we want to be well. We want to be at the full potential of ourselves, in whatever we do. Yeah.
You are in the right path.
Yes, thank you. It's good to know that. And so do you.
Yes, yes, I believe, maybe. You are an energy healer as I am, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Exactly. Thank you again, Eric. Thank you. And nice to meet you again. And I say goodbye to you.
And this is with honor. And I thank you very much for inviting me for this interview. Thank you, François.
Goodbye.
Bye.